Hello everyone, this is Blender Guppy. Welcome to the changelog video for the Creative Flow version 1.6 and Random Flow version 2.5. So Creative Flow, no major changes except for the GP BGL error fix as seen by the Mac users. Okay, that is fixed, and the BGL is responsible for drawing in the viewport, but now it can be completely handled by the GPU shaders without using the BGL module. So removing the BGL module in preparation for its complete removal from Blender in later versions. And this is true for Creative Flow, Random Flow as well, and Fast Mirror. And for the other, so no other major changes except that. Okay. And Random Loop in Random Flow, where we have, let's start with the random panels. So right now, limit smooth, this is a new property. If we increase the resolution of this and merge and use the margin, now this is also merged in the source object. So from before, using the margin will negate merging. So right now it works. But the change with, there's a change with subdivision. So the source mesh will be subdivided as well to make the merging to have no problem with the merging. So the source mesh and the merge and the panel mesh will have the same um, vertex count in their non-manifold borders or terminal edges, so they can be merged without any problem. And mark sharp only. Okay, let's remove the margin and also the merging. And for mark sharp only, it will give you the results instead of the panel cuts being cut in the geometry. You will see that they are mark sharp instead. This is so you can um, edit the result mark sharp only. This is so you can edit the result. Let's try it again with less radial. Okay, this is so mark sharp only. This is so you can edit the result of the random panels without the geometry changes on the way. Mark sharp, mark sharp, and then use the random panels here again. And the panel size is set to 100. So only the mark sharp edges are cut and there is no randomization going on. Then we have the limit smooth. This is so it can be used in combination with the random Starship add-on. And I will uh, be showing it to you once we get to the plate insets. Okay, random cells, random tubes. So sometimes I forget what I did exactly. Okay. Oh, what I did new because of the amount of scripts I've been handling. So we have the random cables, Okay, selecting these faces here, using random cables and using catenary and increasing the cable amount. Okay, so you can see that the cables are connecting helter-skelter or just anywhere on the faces selected. So there's a new property. The toggle property, which is limit to islands, has been removed and it's been replaced with the island limit. So the toggle, which is the limit to islands from before, is now the option limited in the island limit. You can see the cable here, the start and end point of it is in the same island, so we can actually get rid of that and have their endpoints uh have different islands for each, and we have full. Let's I'm going to increase the radius of the bevel, the thickness of the cable, the bevel. Okay, so you can see that now the cables are connected to the islands in sequence. So 500, okay, 200, and let's increase the margin. Okay, so I think I'm island seed. Okay, we can sort it out using the x-axis, and now you can see that they are connected in sequence and not chaotically using limited or none. So 1, 2, 3, 4, full and none. And we can sort it using this. So right now the duplication, the objects um are this way, are lined up in the x-axis. So we sorted out the cables using the sort method using the x-axis, and in the y that is true as well. In the y-axis, selecting the mesh and full, and y-axis, and in the z-axis as well. So we can't use catenary here, so we're using the cables. So on the side, the curve I mean, and increasing its curvature on the y-axis. So we can sort them out in the z-axis. So now the cables are connected in sequence. This is also true for phase islands inside the cube, for example. So they are mostly lined up in the y-axis. So when we use catenary like that, increase the rotation scale. Okay, that's probably the margin. So the margin is at 0, and when we sort it in the y-axis, they are also lined up that way. And you can also use the naming convention. So 1, 2, 3. So This is 2, and this is 3, and this is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Usually this works. There we go. You can also use the naming convention. You name the objects in numerical sequence, and that can also work as sorting method using NaN. If it doesn't work, if the naming convention doesn't work, just use the sorting method using the using the axes, the different axes. Okay, the axes, none. So most of it are actually connected on the, and you can also randomize their location using the seed value here, the island seed. Sort it using X. So if you want the sorting effect to take effect without the randomization, go to island seed number 1. That means that I have programmed it so that number 1 doesn't have any randomization. The randomization only starts when you are in number 2 and above. Okay, so we are moving on towards, so UI change for the flanges, couplings, and final screws. The selection in the tab is no longer expanded and now is now a drop down menu because of the it's being because of the space, the space that I'm working with. This cannot be changed unless this is an OK menu. So this is the it's big using the previous model or method to display this text has become too crowded, so there are now drop down menu, and it's basically the same as the from before. The UI just changed. Final cloth, quick displacement. So quick displacement, a change in the selection. If you're using selection, for example, so right now when you subdivide the from before, only the selected faces are subdivided, but right now even the entire mesh is subdivided. This is to avoid the hard and triangulated uh, and ingons on the borders of the displaced area. And also new properties, the smoothing for the selection method only. You can increase the size of the border and expand for the smoothing. Okay, this is because once you have increased the resolution, the initial smoothing that you see here, so for example this 0, the initial smoothing that you see here will no longer be applied on the second run because We are no longer using subdivision, and it's just displacing the selected faces exactly. So in the border, you see this really hard transition. So I have made these properties to counter that and expand the smoothing. There we go. Now you will have a bit of smoothing, and this is compared to this one. You can also reduce its size, and um, these properties will be very slow on really high resolution. So just remember that this is only meant to work on manageable, um, still manageable resolution like this. And for example, this one, it will already lag on this one, especially on a selection like this. Okay. Okay, so let's go to quick displacement, load image, auto mirror extracts, auto smooth. Okay, I think I did some UI change here as well. I can't remember. But yeah, all of the operators are still here. They're just they've just been relocated. So let's go to plate insets. Plates insets is the same as the script I use for the plating feature in random Starship. This is to generate these details. So without the plating, if you're just aiming for a simple base mesh, you can do that. But with the plating feature, you can have those details by increasing subdivision, increasing their number and also their fidelity. There we go. So this this algorithm is used by the plate insets as well. So this is derived. This script is derived from the random Starship add-on. So I made this so you can use this in combination with the random Starship add-on to further model the result of the random Starship add-on. Or you can also use this in other things, such as if you have a really simple base mesh and you want to quickly detail it, but you want a unimesh or a whole mesh. So instead of using this non-destructive operators, you can use this. This is destructive, meaning that it will destroy the mesh to create those details when you increase the subdivision. Okay, so you have this result. It's unimesh, so you can 3D print this or do anything that you want. You can also mark sharp. You can also select one of the mark sharp edges. This is done automatically in random Starship, but in this case, I'm gonna let the user do this manually, because if this is used in combination with random Starship add-on and it has its own UVing process, so this way it doesn't interrupt that. So you can select one of the sharp edges, Shift G, sharpness, and Control E, mark seam. So you can easily UV this using this way, and then unwrap, go to UVs, and you have this. So it's much easier to work with. You can use text tools to flatten this out, and some parts may need additional work like this one, this looping areas. You can select that using face selection mode. Go to face selection mode, pressing number 3, and use the hotkey L. Hover on any face and press L. This is the same method I'm using for selecting the separated face islands, but the L hotkey or select link can also be limited using UV marked edges in UV marked border edges, boundary edges. So you can quickly select and edit the UV. Okay. You can also link UV sync selection, and when you select something here, you know where that is. Or you select this one here, L, so you know what part of the mesh that is as well. And it will be easier for you to isolate and also add additional seams to fix this one here. And so plate and sets. So I used my own presets. There is no save preset for this one. So if you start, increase the subdivision, and plates, you need to increase this as well. 50 is a good starting point. And we have the thickness, which scales the faces above the inset, and the depth, which of course is the height of the extrusion. The height is a randomized depth added to the original depth here. So when you use the seed value, you can see that they're bumping around, having different random seeds this way. And margin type indent all, meaning that all plate insets will have a margin, but using indent only the you can see the uh, indented insets, or the plate insets that are extruding in will be the ones that have the margin. So this is to avoid, where's the having sharp boundaries. This is to avoid two indent plate insets having sharp borders without margin. You can see that. And with just a bit of margin, you create a face, a margin. There we go. And then reverse meaning that the plates will be reversed, will be randomly, the plates will be chosen for being reversed. So for example, this one is extruding in out, and we randomize that, and it can sometimes just randomize extrude in, and triangulate to create triangulation on the mesh and create slanted edges. Whoa, this is good. And limit smooth later with random starship. So limit dissolve, the same as limit dissolve in random panels. Use mirror. If you have mirror, for example, auto mirror in the x-axis, and we use the plate insets subdivision. So now it's showing you the mirrored state, but if you use the toggle off use mirror, it will of course affect the entire mesh asymmetrically. And use mirror. Okay, to fix this, increase the number of max. So this pertains to the size of the island. 1 means just one face, and 2 means that the island will expand radially or in circle. So this so for example, this face here if this is randomized for the uh, increased or expanded size, then this will look that this way. So it is expanding radially per number. So that's 2, and this is 3. Okay, 3, 4. Okay, fill or clear. So the difference between clear, so clear means no neighboring faces, fill means every face will be used. So this is slower, but if you want more busy details on your models, then use fill. Okay, let's go to limit smooth. Let's try soft base. Okay, so this is being affected by auto smooth. So if you're interested with random Starship, go ahead and look for it in my store, and there's a complete tutorial on it on how to install the presets and also use all these properties here. Okay, let's use this one. And let's try, so for example, if you have your Starship or your base mesh, so I select these faces here and use plate insets. Okay, select number 3. I'm going to use my presets here so I don't uh, repeat setting all this up. Okay, so right now the model here, the Starship, is using limit smooth base, so that's what we are going to use, and we'll see the difference here if we increase the resolution. So top, that is top, and this is base, currently the one used by the mesh, and this is none. Okay, so this is only meant for if you are using auto smooth in your model and to an increased angle, you can use this to change the look of the insets depending on which of the plate inset boundary edges are being marked sharp, if it's the top area or it's the bottom area or that just none. Okay, so you can use this. So this is destructive and also the same as random panels. When merging and when subdividing, the area that you've selected is not isolated for subdivision. Instead, the entire mesh is also subdivided. So this is the original resolution, and when we subdivide, this is the result. Okay, increased subdivision in order for the merged faces to have the same vertices as the um, source mesh. So once you find your um once you find the resolution that you want to play with enough faces to play with, then you can just forego the subdivision and just use the resolution that you have here. So depth, increase this and use base and increase the reduce the triangulation, and we can also use random panels. So random panels have the same properties here. This is a new one. So when you use this to model to detail the spaceship, let's use walk. and merge. So we're going to use the same limit smooth the source mesh has, base. This is top and this is base. There we go. So they look the same. Do this after UVing. The extra details you can input using random flow. Do it after when you fix the UVs for your Starship. This is auto UV, by the way, when you make a Starship. And the auto UV feature only activates when you have a plating number here, any plating number here. So when you go to edit mode, just select everything and unwrap. So it's not gonna be perfect, but most of the work is done for you. And you just have to fix the other areas. Like I showed you the last, using the selection methods I showed you the last time. Okay, let's go back to the cube. So what else? Plate insets, mesh, automatic extras. Yeah, and that's it, I think, for the changes in 2.6 plate insets. And so for the users, for the random flow users who are into 3D printing, now you can use these additional tools to try out the models, to try them out for 3D printing. So now I have given you random panels with the merge panel. So the mesh remains unimesh with the additional detail, and also plate insets. So this is destructive, and random panels is destructive when you use the merge panel. Destructive meaning that it will affect the topology of the source mesh. And the result is a unimesh, not a separate object. Like for example, if not we're not using random panels, I mean merge panel, this will be a separate object with separate islands that you can also select using the L hat key. Okay, so check out the random Starship add-on as well in the product in my store, and this is made as a utility add-on for random flow. This is 0.5, and you can do a lot of combinations with this. Watch the video. Watch the last video in the random Starship link in the product page, and that's where I show how to use the presets, install them, and also play around with the settings without the presets. That's a lot of wings. Let's knock out wing number 2. And wing extension is 0.8 only. Let's try 12. This is symmetrized in the z-axis. So yeah, just playing around with the shapes until you get the one that you want. And then you can increase the details using subdivision 1, 2, 3. There we go. And the good thing about this is that, for example, if we use the hull smoothing, there's a lot of look you can achieve with this, just playing around with the settings, increasing the auto smooth, using the limits mode in the plating to change the look. Use none and reduce the auto smooth again to make it sharp. Use 5 degrees for triangulation. So even with all these details, you go to the edit mode, select everything, and just unwrap. Okay, so there you go. Those are the changes for creative flow, random flow, and we now have a new add-on called Random Starship. So go check it out. And that's it for this video. And if you have any questions, use the comment section below or the links in the description. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.